All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rcha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom and peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. So, in Malachi the 4th chapter, in verse 1, it says, "For behold, the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven." And now let's click on the word oven. What you have to understand is, a lot of these certain scriptures might have about agriculture, meaning also like animals. A lot of likening Israel's likening to a sheep. If you see sheep, they're beautiful creatures, but they can be led very easily. And so they're also no disrespect to the sheep out there, but they're stupid. They were not given that intelligence on that level. The scripture is really what turns us from those sheep. They just follow anyone to the true sheep, with that shepherd. So it says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up." Or as we say, burn them up. Saith Yahawah of hosts, "Thou shall leave them neither root nor branch." Now let's get into the word for oven there. This word, it says, Thanawa, furnace, oven, fire pot. This is portable stove for cooking. The Most High's wrath, his furnace, figuratively, of hunger, desire for evil, fire pot. Now, if you ever go into the, like Elamite restaurants, I'm talking Persian food, Indian food, Pakistani food, any of them sort of places, that real Elamite food. When they have their naan or their roti, they don't cook it. Us, at least in England, the conventional oven is you make a piece of bread, you put it in there. It might take, depending on the bread, it might take 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour, even over an hour. These ovens that we used to use and that were common custom back in the old days, you'd get that piece of dough, you'd slap it on the oven for 1 second, bang, it's cooked. Now that's the oven we're talking about here. That's the similitude. So it says, "For behold, the day cometh up." In fact, let's get it on the what do you call it, blue letter. "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven." Right? It's not gonna slowly take ages to boil. These ovens are fucking on it, man. They're on. There's no warming up. You might have to heat it up. What do you call it? You basically, when you're trying to put something on, you have preheat. You have to preheat this day. This day is preheating already. All of these things, the increasing events coming upon the earth, they are the preheating thereof. This oven, when it's on, bro. Right, and all the proud. Let's look at that word for proud. The proud, zad, right? Arrogant, proud, insolent, right? Which is a fancy word for cheeky. Right, presumptuous. The arrogant ones, as n, I think that's noun, collective, plural. And then presumptuous as adjective. So proud 12 times, presumptuous 1 time, in the King James Version. "Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up. Saith Yahawah of hosts, that I shall leave them neither root nor branch." Now, who's the chiefest proud nation? Let's continue in this book, or rather refer to an earlier chapter, Malachi 1, and we'll read 1 through 4. "The burden of the word of Yahawah to Yasharallah by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahawah. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahawah? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." Now this is the key one there. "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahawah of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahawah hath indignation forever." Right, so the Lord will throw down, and this is not just Mount Seir itself. If that ever gets built up, that'll get thrown down. But wherever he goes, he will. His how does it say it? And they will fill the face of them. Let me just get that verbatim. Basically, what I'm saying is, this is E everywhere. Yeah, it's not just Mount Seir, but you can build everywhere else. Right, Isaiah 14:27. No, what is it? 21? Yeah. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Right, so it's not saying in Malachi, yeah, you can, basically, you can't build in Mount Seir, but you can fill the face of the earth with cities. Yeah, it's saying wherever you do. And it's also saying they shall call them the border of wickedness. Right, the dwelling of wickedness, wherever they dwell, wickedness proceeds and precedes. It's like a bad stench. It said, and the people against whom the Lord Yahawah hath indignation forever. So, Elder Rakar from GOCC, yeah, he can't make it, man. He cannot make it. If the Lord has indignation, yeah, he's not going to put that aside. It's like saying, there's a certain group of Israelites that the Lord would ever stop keeping, not keeping covenant in that sense, but because ultimately we broke the covenant. But he's never going to go against his promise. He promised that Jacob will be the loved one, that Jacob will be the blessed one in the end, that the elder should serve the younger, and that these people would have indignation against them forever. Right, so the Lord is not a man that he should lie, nor repent. So Malachi 4, it says, the day shall come that will burn them up, leave them neither root nor branch. Now, what do you call yourself? Yeshaya Yaquab, which really, if you're going by that, it should be Yeshaya Yaquab. Okay. But nonetheless, they're going to get Obadiah 1:18, man. Which reads, Obadiah 1:18. Or you could say the 18th verse, because there's just one chapter. And the house of Yaquab, not Yaquab, and the house of Yaquab, Jacob, shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, Yahweh, a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahawah hath spoken it. Again, Yeshaya Yaquab, Elder Rachar from GOCC, if there's not going to be any, you will say there's not any except for a certain one. See, you always, not you, but Jake is always trying to abrogate prophecy or find a way, climb up some other way. This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, like we said, certain... And we'd understand this even better if we were dealing with sheep, and we had a sheepfold and you had a gate and everything. These parables were put, or certain ones are parables, similitudes. I pause there because, he spoke in parables, Yahawashi the Lord spoke in parables, certain ones for Israelites not to get it. They'll tell you in the church that he would expound on certain things for further clarification that everyone could get it. And that's how it's sort of positioned, at least. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Right, so who's the shepherd? Yahawashi. Or Malachi 4:2. But unto you, neither root nor... So there's not going to be any ease. And although he is the proud, many of you heathens are proud as well. You heathen nations. Right, a lot of you Elamites are proud as fuck. Moab, a lot of you are proud. Jake, you're proud. But all Jakes will be fine in the kingdom. They'll get set right again. Myself included in that. Right, this flesh will get done away with. You're going to have the botch in your knees. The all manner of ailments that the corruptness of this flesh comes with. Verse 2. But unto you that fear my name, right? So what is the name? How are you going to fear the name when you don't know the name? See, this is the thing, man. That is a very key thing. Now, if you're all your energy is on focusing on trying to debunk us, but you can't even work out the name, that's an issue. If you used to do the work, but now you're a comment board scoffer, you've got nothing better to do, but you can't work out the name yourself, that's an issue. And these are all, you need to work that out, man. You need to work that out. Malachi 4:2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. Again, a stall, you have a market stall, but the word for stall here is marbak or marabak. Stall of animals as stall twice, fat once, fatted once. Right, so certain words, especially with Old English as well, 1611, 1769, I believe it was, when it was redacted or updated, edited, however. Which all this is based on faith. All of it is. You can't hop in a time machine, go back 2,000 years, hear exactly how they pronounce this name, that name, and then continue about it. It's based on faith. The faith-based argument we put forth, that is what we stand on. We stand on faith. Whereas a lot of you do, but you don't like to admit it. You try and make out you've got this scholar breakdown, you've got this scholarly thing. These scriptures weren't made to be understood by the carnal mind. You have to use faith. You have to use faith, man. And the faith is a gift there. Let's search the gift of faith. This is the book of Ephesians 2, verse 8. For by grace you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. You see? So how do we know that name? Through faith. Now you say, oh yeah, but you don't know that for sure. That we know it by faith. Because all the arguments you're making against us will get put back to you. And what do you call it? Throwing rocks in a glass house, I believe is the term. Verse 3, and ye shall tread down the wicked, for there shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith Yahawah of hosts. And let's get that. Might spell it wrong still. How do you spell that? 2 words. Right, Jeremiah 51 and 20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Right now, the Lord's gonna raise up that weapon there. It's not gonna be a bunch of a bunch of Israelites, a bunch of just decides for themselves. Right, this is the time. We're talking about supernatural, divine intervention. Not something we're gonna enact ourselves in that sense, if you like. Wash feet, blood. Right, Isaiah. Psalm 58 and 10. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. Right, and the chief one there. This is why I said Isaiah. Because Yahawashi is going to do this, first without the city. As it talks about in Revelation, the 14th chapter. Which I believe I've got a video up of going into that. And we as a body have, loads of videos on that. On all this. That's how we learned. That's how I learned it. To then be able to teach it. Then you'll learn it. Then you'll go and teach it. If that's the will of the Lord. Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, travelling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Right, and who's that? That's Yahawashi. And he was getting busy, man. Verse 2 and 3. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Why does it look like you just stomped on a bunch of grapes? Because that's how you make wine. You crush the grapes. Red wine, we thought. Because that's real wine. Verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. So we're talking without the city, if you understand that. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So there you have it, man. This is your sweet Jesus, handing out candy canes. Your Caesar Borgia, your pretty little white Jesus. Like that. These are the scriptures that you claim to believe in, man. That your Messiah is gonna carry out. Malachi 4:4. Remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. When we're changed, we won't be able to forget a single one of them. Some say 613. I can't say I've gone through and counted every single one. But there's a lot. There's a lot, and we're not going to forget a single one in the time that's coming very shortly. Verse 5, behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawah. Now, the great and dreadful day is that judgment day, right? The judgment day where all this in terms of, Second Ezra 16 all has to have taken place. Yeah, the great days are our deliverance, man. Yeah, it's great for the elect and dreadful for everyone else. Although it still talks about, let's get that, how the elect were going to be affrighted. Yeah, Revelation 11 and 13, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the power of heaven. Right, so to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Even the elect are going to be affrighted. So Elijah was going to have to be sent before that time. Now we can very clearly see we're going into, we're in the end time, but we're heading towards that at a very fast pace. So all you, that scoff and mock continuously, when is this going to happen? Or when did this happen? Because you won't admit that John was Elijah, which, Yahawashi said this. Where is? Right, Elias is how you spell it, Elijah, in the New Testament. And let me prove that before we go ahead with this. So the word here, we'll get into this. Elias, Helias, and then it says there Elijah. Right, and it's from what? Aliyah. Right, so now we know Elias is Elijah. Let's read this. Matthew 11 and verse 13 and 14. For all the prophets and the Lord prophesied until John. And if you receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. What does it mean, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear? It means not everyone's going to get it. Yeah, you could have it broken down to you time upon time, soundly, to the point where you can't, you have no comeback for it. To oh no, he went in the spirit and power. The spirit and power. What does that mean? It means he was in the same spirit, the same power. Yeah, you'll say, what about when, Elisha prayed for a double portion? Was that reincarnation? Or what does reincarnation mean? Again in flesh. And you admitted that Elijah's spirit was in John the Baptist's flesh. Yeah, so his spirit was again in flesh. So you've already admitted that one. Nonetheless, and if you receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. Right, but he had to come again. Because the people in 1st century AD, they knew they were Israelites. Okay? So who is this Elijah? Whether you believe it, what is it's a back from HOSA, whether you like it, understand it, accept it, believe it or not. This is talking about Abba Bivens. Alright? Who was well known as so-called teaching the New Testament different to the Christians. What was that? And that's certain understandings that weren't revealed to anyone up until that point. But I think you get to around the point of, and there was a lot happening in Babylon in general, around them times, and it's all spiritual. It's all for the end, to make manifest what was written aforetime. Behold, I send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawah. And when Yahawashi came back, 1st century AD, a lot of the Jews, the Israelites were looking. Well, when are you gonna set? Oh, let me find that. I know it's not this. Basically, they were asking if someone can post that, Babakusha. They were asking, when are you going to take them down? They were thinking, he's going to come on the scene, take down the Romans now and rule forever. So that wasn't great and dreadful, as in what's prophesied in terms of, the kingdom to last forever and the absolute overthrow of all the heathen rulership and nation. Then, so what does this mean? This means that Elijah came back before Yahawashi came in that time, and now Elijah had to come back again before Yahawashi comes to bring that great and dreadful day of Yahawah. Verse 6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Yeah, so how did half of you, more than half of you, scoffing Israelites that don't make any videos, that come against the ministry, and spend your whole time doing that, it seems. How did you find out you're an Israelite? Through the street teachers. Yeah, the preaching put up on YouTube. No, I didn't, brother. I found out through someone else. How did he find out? Well, yeah, he probably found out through that, but it's a prophecy, man. Ezekiel 37. And this was a very key prophet, which played a key part in this key awakening. All right, you found out you were an Israelite, maybe not on the streets, maybe not watching a video on YouTube of someone on the streets, but maybe heard someone, that had listened to someone that had heard it from the streets. Yeah, I don't mean from the streets. I mean street teaching, street preaching. Yeah, the ministry, the holy ministry. Right, and from there, as it was prophesied too, John 14 and 26, or 14 and 16 first. And I'll pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. Verse 26, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. And, from that point, from so-called One West doctrine, that is the structural backbone of quote-unquote Hebrew Israelism, as vocab would call it. And you always see him coming after the One Westers. He don't care about, is it Beit? I can't even think. Not Beta Yisrael. What do they call him? In Demona. Yeah, you African Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, he's more after the black, pushing that black Hebrew Israelite. And he's talking about the so-called One West, them that came out of One West. So, IUIC, GOCC, Yasimi Yase, all of them, Sakari, all of them. But the top one would have to be who? GMS. Even Sarnetter will tell you that. Yeah, but that was just a quick hit on Malachi. I didn't anticipate going through the whole thing. But so I'm sure there's some things, that I could have expounded on, or a brother may be able to. Yeah, please do so. So, I'll leave it there, on to the next one, Lord willing. Giving all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, rucha, kodash. Shalom.